Hey, well, hey everybody. It is good to see you tonight. And as we get kicked off with another Wednesday Night Live, this is crazy. This is like week 7, I think. This is week 7 of doing Wednesday Night Lives and Sunday Night Lives. And I'm not even sure how many of these we have actually sat in. I think it's like week 9 or so in the sense of just being in this quarantine time and learning a new rhythm. We're so happy you're joining us. If I haven't met you, my name is Pierce Drake. I'm one of the pastors at Providence Church, but I'm also, more importantly and mainly, I'm the pastor of students. And so I oversee middle school, high school, and so yeah. Hey, if you're on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, and so love to have you guys. If you're on Instagram, we love you guys. And so here's what I know about Instagram. Instagram last week had a few technical difficulties. And so if you're on YouTube, on the comments, if you'll just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and that would be really good. We're monitoring both of them, and this is going great. Amani says she's baking shortbread, chocolate chunk cookies right now. Whew, that sounds good. My birthday was yesterday, 31, and a lot of fun there. And so somebody dropped off. And it wasn't somebody, it was the Hughes family. Love AJ, Evan, and Casey and Scott. And so brought me some like homemade, just good stuff. I don't even know. I mean, there's like chocolate in them and everything. And so I am really excited about that. And hey, I want to check. This is like, because it's just me doing all of this right now. I want to check Instagram. Yeah, sounds good. Cool. So yeah, there's a little bit of delays. That's not fun. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. I'm so excited. Lindsay Williamson is on tonight. She is one of my favorite people, and we are gonna have just so much fun. She, in our staff meeting the other day, She did a whole staff meeting just around. Oops, sorry about that. She did a whole staff meeting in character of somebody on Parks and Rec. So there's really no telling what's going to happen when she shows up. She could be in a character form. She's got some pretty cool hats. But I know a lot of you haven't got a chance to meet her yet. And so that's going to be really cool, I think, for y'all to meet her, to get to know her. And look at this. Here we go. Come on. What's up?
What's up?
How are y'all doing?
Good. Yeah, we're good, man. How are you?
We're good. We're good. Amy Jo is down and she is asleep. And so that's really good.
What's that like? Yeah. I think I go down before Dub does.
You go down before Dub does? I used to do that. Dub, how old are you?
9.
9? When's your birthday?
November 15th.
Okay, so you're like 9.5 right now.
I think.
Yeah. And you know how I know that? It's because my birthday was yesterday. And so I know that November is 6 months from my birthday, and it's like my half birthday. So, yeah, you can remember that. So what have you guys been up to today?
What have you been doing today?
Chores and work.
Every day, grinding it.
Yes.
Chores and work.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't. Love and I like to go outside and play paddleball right now and see how many times we can hit it back and forth. But we didn't get to do that. It's a little cold today, so we get to do that today. But
listen, there's no like rhyme and reason to our weather here in Mount Juliet and Lebanon and Wilson County right now.
Yeah, man. Like when every state I've been in, every state I've lived in, they'd always say, "Oh, stick around. The weather changes. Stick around," but not like here. Like literally, no idea, no clue. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad y'all are hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so I was saying right before you hopped on, I think a lot of people will know your face. A lot of our students will know your face. A lot of our students that serve in Prof Kids, which is a great way to be involved. Obviously, in this quarantine time, it's a little different. But like when we were at the church and stuff, a lot of our kids were serving in Prof Kids, helping out with second graders, kindergartners, all the way around. And so they know you. Students that might know you from like crazy football uniforms in the fall. You love football.
I don't know how they'd know me from.
Yeah, they would know you through that. And I remember there was one day like you wore like a Prof Kids shirt, and I was like, Lindsay, that's the first like normal outfit you've had on in like 3 months.
I do love a good theme. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I love a good theme dress up, and
right.
It's fun for that.
Hey, this is what I want to do to start off. I want to do like some rapid fire questions for you.
How rapid?
And pretty quick. And then I'm going to go rapid questions to Dub. So, all right, you ready? Just a chance for people to get to know you a little bit. I'm going to look at my questions. All right. Lindsay, where were you born?
I was born in Jackson,
Tennessee?
No, Jackson, Michigan.
Jackson, Michigan. All right.
Born in Jackson. I'm going to answer all in.
Okay. Like I said, people, it's crazy. So born in Jackson, Michigan. What's one hobby you had when you were in middle school?
Oh, middle school. I'm really actually glad you brought that up because I thought we might want to, that's me in 7th grade. Hobbies in middle school. I don't know if you knew, but in middle school I was a comedian.
Shocking.
Nobody ever found out really. Like I was never picked up. But I really, felt that calling to be a comedian, and I just haven't been discovered yet. But it's coming.
It's coming.
I thought you said that you were gonna answer all in song.
It was.
Oh, that's good. Well, since you showed a picture of you in middle school, look at this picture I found of me and Claire. Look at that. That is.
Love it. That's fantastic.
That's not middle school. That's us as like about to get married. So.
Wow. It's so funny. Claire does not age. Like she looks the same.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't.
I say anything about Drake. Nothing about you, Drake.
So, what's one club or sport you played in high school?
High school. I played softball since I was 5 years old. So softball was my favorite sport. I did musical. Can I only say? Oh, I can only say one.
No, you can keep going. Keep going.
I was in musicals in high school. I'm happy to sing some of those. Now is fine. Or
you gave up that song thing real quick.
Another time is fine.
So what? I think we'll pause on the song. We might end with that. How about that?
I think we should.
This is we live. Neither one of us are from here. We both live now in Music City. So, what was your first concert you ever went to?
First concert I ever went to. I was pretty young. My dad. This is like taken away back. Nobody's gonna know probably about this group, but it was Striper. Was the name of the group. They were they were actually a Christian band, but very heavy metal Christian. I remember being in Detroit, and we were in the third balcony up at this venue that we had. My dad had taken us to.
Yeah. And
I can remember that the drummer for Striper was sitting at his drums, and he was chucking Bibles all the way up to like the second and third balcony. He just could fling these little Bibles all the way up. It was amazing. It was a really loud concert.
Right.
The shirt, we bought a Striper shirt, and on the back it said "To Hell with the Devil," and that was one of their big songs. And I wore it to school the next day.
Yeah.
Wore it to school. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you remember, like, speaking of that, like Striper band, like being a hard band, like a rock band? Was that the band? Do you have a moment of like listening to them and then like somebody telling you like this is a Christian band and you're like, whoa, like that could be Christian music?
It was definitely not your average Christian music for sure. And yeah, because I think a lot of Christian music at that time that I would hear was kind of more poppy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
this is gonna date both of us. The kids won't know it, but do you remember Carmen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for the rest of you guys, if you're in middle school, so did I. If you're in middle school or high school and you're like hanging out tonight, you're kind of bored, go YouTube Carmen, and then you'll appreciate how good your music is today.
Absolutely.
So all right. So So first concert was Striper. Last concert. What's the last concert you've been to?
Can we define concert? Like,
what's the last music venue, music thing you went to, not including church?
Okay, not including church. Okay. So, like, Dub and I singing in our living room, that doesn't count.
No, here it is. Last time you went to pay to listen to someone sing.
Oh, okay. Last time I paid to listen to someone sing. I think it actually went to the Station Inn. And saw a country western group play there. So that was probably the last time I think that I paid to go.
You have a very wide array of music because you can rap with the best of them. You like Striper and country western. Pastor Mark was commenting on Instagram just a minute ago all about Striper. So. We'll have to figure out how many concerts did he go to of Striper.
Yeah. I bet he had really long hair then, because that's Striper kind of had.
I'm not commenting on that. So last question in kind of the fun round.
Got
it.
You're
from Michigan, born.
Home is where the hand is.
Yep. Nobody else gets that reference. Why do you love the best college football in the land, the University of Georgia? How did you come to love them? We share that in common.
Yeah. Let me think. A minute. Actually, it was when where I went to undergrad school. Our football team. I would go to the football games. The football team really wasn't that great.
Right.
And so when I moved. After I got my master's right away, I moved. When I started teaching in Georgia, and all my girlfriends introduced me to being a Georgia fan, and they're going to the games and actually like there is something about SEC football, and there's definitely, it is fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of. And so that's how I initially became a Georgia fan. And then this guy here was actually born in Athens, Georgia. And so lived over with UGA and taught over there. Or I taught at the public schools near Georgia.
Yeah.
And it's a fun team to watch. And I just really, really enjoy watching them. And yeah. So yeah, that's how I became a fan.
That's awesome. Our good friend David just shouted out "Go Dogs" on Instagram. And so hey, let's switch it a little bit. Let's go to Dub. Dub is your son. He has the coolest hair anybody I know. Coolest 9-year-old. Dub. So hey, Dub, what's the show you're watching right now, like during quarantine?
Dawn of the Cruise.
So what is it?
Dawn of the Cruise is basically like the cartoon of Cruise.
Okay. Are you like just watching episode after episode?
Oh yeah.
Are you done with school yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're done.
For sure.
And on Friday, I'm waiting for the new season of The Hollow to come out.
Oh, all right. I like it. Those sound like good shows, good wholesome shows to watch for all of us. Dub, if you could have one dessert tonight, what would it be?
I honestly don't even know.
You don't know? You can't pick a dessert?
Ice cream?
Okay. Do you have a flavor?
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah, really.
And chocolate syrup.
Okay, vanilla and chocolate syrup. I like it. So, Lindsay, Dub, both of you are people who like to have fun, have adventure. So what adventures and fun are you guys having in like this quarantine new space we're living in?
Just the house.
I will tell you this. So one day we try to get outside. We do try to adventure, go outside every day. And so I'll usually run and double Scooter with me. He's really, really fast on his scooter. And so one day I was running and he didn't want to go. And then he had decided he wanted to go. So he FaceTimed me while I was running and came back and we went, so he said, I want you to go on your scooter. Or I want to go on my scooter. I want you to run. And by then I was done running. I was like, no, I hit my done point. I'm done running. That's it. That's all I got. And so we're going back and forth. And so I said, I'm going to scooter with you because we have my niece's, his cousin's extra scooter here. And I said, I'm going to scooter with you. And he's like, no, you're going to embarrass me. You're not scootering with me. I was like, yes, I'm doing this. I'm going to scooter with you. So he takes off and I take off on the other scooter. It was so hard. It was such a hard workout. He left me.
I said, that is literally the easiest possible thing to ride. You just stand and push your foot on the ground. It's not hard.
It was. My legs were killing me. I was out of breath. And then I literally looked like the old lady riding around on a scooter just by herself in the neighborhood because he is long gone. He's long gone. And so I was trying to catch him.
There's a lot of people that were sitting on their couches and just wondering what's happening.
That's how we feel a lot of times. What is happening? What?
That's funny. Lindsay, as this time has kind of gone and adventures are happening, I think we're finding ourselves creating new rhythms. Yeah. I know me and you have talked about that a lot over the last few weeks of like learning to create new rhythms, fun rhythms and exciting rhythms. But also like moments with God, and we talked about this with Pastor Angela and Pastor Mark last week, and it's the question that I'm loving having the conversation around, because I think each person, we're all in this same storm together. We're all in this isolation together, so we can have empathy for each other. We know what each other's going through in that sense. But what's interesting and fun and beautiful about who God is he's calling different things out of us. And so what does your kind of rhythm look like with God recently during this? And then what's he kind of pulling up to the surface for you and what's he showing you?
Yeah, I think it's been really interesting for me because every day I set aside a quiet time and that's my time with God. And back when we were in a routine, it would be before Dub got up, and that's kind of where I found my peace, and I talked to God and be with God during that time. And it's almost like in this time I've had to find new ways to listen to God again. And it's not that God has left me. My mind is in a different space. My mind might be moving, even though I'm in the same place that I used to be before, where I'd sit and I have a special place where I talk to God. And it just, I found that, and you actually helped lead me to this, was it wasn't that God's not talking. I had to adjust the way I was listening to him during this time, and that has been that's been an adjustment for me. Is, it's like we're in the house every day, but the routine is not the same.
Right.
There isn't really a routine here, and so it's been and every day it might be a little bit different the way where I hear from God, or when and getting myself to stop talking, really, so that I can listen a little bit more, rather than my mind moving so much.
Yeah, I think that's so true for all of us. Like, in the fact that, like, we're doing church differently, right? Like, we're not able to join together. We've never done these Wednesday night lives before this. You are doing a fantastic job. Like, you don't have to be a middle school or high school student to, like, go follow Prof Kids on Instagram. And, like, you guys are doing story time every day. And that's a new thing. And you're even changing up how you're doing it. And so what I love, the truth that we can stand on, and that you've helped me remind myself of, and, is that, like, regardless, like, we know that God's speaking to us and God's with us. And so in the change of everything, it's good for us to, like, change our own system, right? Like, I remember, you'll remember this, I remember getting text messaging on my phone for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was in high school, and it had just come out. And you had to, I've shared this before, like, you had to pay per text, right? And so it was like 500 texts a month was like $30 or something, and trying to convince your parents to let you do that. And then we moved into this, like, so we didn't call each other anymore. Then we texted, and then we've seen, like, this move into, like, hey, we're going to FaceTime each other, but we're actually not going to look at each other. We just want to talk through that way. And what's interesting in this quarantine, like, we're moving back to, like, hey, I just want to call you. I just want to hear your voice. I want to, or FaceTime in a new way. And so God's doing, I think it's a good practice for all of us to kind of go, okay, God, how are you speaking? How are you speaking to us now? So as you've changed your rhythm a little bit, as you've tried to listen differently, what's God bringing up in your time together?
Yeah. For me, it's it really is just, I think I'm a kind of I like to finish things off. I like to reach goals. I like to finish things. I like to be done. And I have realized very much during this that each step I take with God, there isn't a finish line here. There's not you're done. You got and what I've noticed is God through studying to help in Prov Kids, and to help do the things we're doing there, and studying, the Beatitudes that we're looking at, I've found God bringing up some things within me that just that I didn't know were there, and they're not. It's not bad habits, or it's not this or that, or maybe but it's just, hey, this is just one more thing. I want you to take one more step in this.
Right.
And it's things I didn't know was there. For example, when we were looking at, blessed are those who are spiritually needy, I realized, like, my soul's need, how much I need God, and how much my spirit needs him. And that sometimes I can look to people to fill that, but it's not totally fulfilling. But I was on a run, and I really did get this sense of that you need me, and you need to look to me. I'm here, but look to me to fill. Don't look to other people. Don't look to affirmation. You look to me to fill that need. And so it's been just these little, I call them, like, refining moments for me. That's okay. Now I want you to take one more step. Here's something else. Here's something that let's refine together. Let's grow in this relationship. okay, now I want you to take one more step.
Right.
And so that to me has been, there was one point during, as I feel those coming, I'm like, it's almost kind of, it's tiring sometimes to be like, oh, okay, another,
right.
Here's something else I gotta work on. And it can feel tiring. And I don't know if tired is the right word, but it can feel like, man, this is something else I want to grow in so I can be closer to God. This is something else I want to grow in.
It's that kind of mentality, whether it's a softball coach or a soccer coach or your play director or your band director or, just a teacher, to where they begin to call stuff out of you and then you begin to reach it and you begin to stride in it and then they call something higher out of you and you're like, oh, there's more, and so I think in the moment for a lot of us, myself really is like, oh, I just want to rest for a moment in a sense of, but a good teacher, you were a teacher before you were, you're still a teacher, but that was your profession before this, a good teacher looking back on all my grade school years were the ones that just kept pushing me and kept pulling stuff out of me. And, and so God's doing the same thing with us. So you talked about he's refining you. He's asking this next step. So as you're going about your day, as you're going about through a season, what's the thing that makes you realize, oh, I've turned sideways a little bit. I'm still facing God, but maybe I'm trying to get affirmation from other places. Maybe, what's the heart check? What does that actually look like or feel like?
It can look different.
Right.
That's the thing is I think it can look different. And that's to me, what looks different in this season, because it looks different for me now than other times before when I said, oh, this is, this is a time I can tell I'm going the wrong direction here. I can tell I'm going, and so right now it really is the unrest in my soul, the anxiety building up, emotion building up, and that unrest. And I have to kind of think about what's going on. Where's the peace? And it's hard to slow down and find that peace and sit in that presence,
right.
To gain that peace. But that's, that's where I'd say, other times in my life, it's like filling myself with food, reaching to food, to be able to, because I'm not feeling, because I'm missing something. That would be like looking sideways.
Right.
Used to go shopping sometimes, it's like buying things. That's how I could tell I was looking sideways instead of focusing on the thing, that I needed.
There's a thing
comparing myself with other people.
Yeah.
That's a way that I can tell that I'm looking sideways and I'm not focused on. So those are kind of triggers that I can tell.
Yeah.
I'm not really focused on got my eyes fixed in the right spot.
That's so good. And the reality is we all get caught in that, right? Mm-hmm. We all get caught in that. And one of the things that Claire's mom, who is a pastor and a leader and an author and a speaker, she's incredible. She calls that a holy discomfort.
Yeah.
This discomfort within us, but it's holy. It's not unholy. It's like God calling us into something. So we got to get uncomfortable a little bit. And so when he does that, there is this discomfort, but it's to know that it's a holy thing is really, really important. Here's a question I wanted to ask. And as God has been in this season speaking a little differently, he's the language you use has been refining you, and kind of centering you back to him. What have you learned about just the character of God, about who he is in this process?
It's just, I guess to me, I've got to say how patient he is with me, how patient that he, finds the right time. I am a person, I like to be busy. I like being busy. I like to be busy, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's to avoid things too. So I have to be really careful about my busyness, and it's so patient. And I know there probably some of the most spiritual significant times where I've felt God's presence is when I've had to sit still.
Right.
And I don't like sitting still. It's not, it's just not the way I got energy, and I don't love those times.
Right.
And so in the stillness is when he is there, and it's his patience. The fact that he waits so long for me to stop being so busy to say, okay, now I want you to take this step.
Right.
And I don't, just so patient with me when I take the step and I take steps back. It's just, it's amazing his presence and his patience, I think, with guiding me in the direction that he wants me to go.
Right. I was thinking about that the other day in the sense of, man, I wish I knew that in middle school and high school.
Oh, man.
I wish I knew how patient God was. I wish I knew how slow to anger he was. Like when everybody else is getting mad at me, he was slow to anger. How abounding in love and grace he is. Man, my middle school years and high school years, my journey would look a lot different, and so that's so true. All right, last question.
I want to say something.
Yeah, go for it.
That in middle school and high school, I wish I would have known that as you take a step, when you take steps back, you can still take that step forward with that patience.
That's good.
I think when I took steps back, I felt like that's it. I'm back here, rather than come on gently, come on back. Take one more step in this direction, as opposed to you either take the step or it's the whole thing's over. Right.
That's such a good word. Thank you for that. So last question, I want to honor you guys' time. When we come out of this into a new normal, whatever new normal will be for us, and when it will be, nobody knows those answers. But what's something in this time frame that you would like to take into the next one when we go back to normal?
What do you think? Where do you want to take it?
The time that we get to spend more with other people.
Yeah, I think we really, we not only, I think we find more time to play.
Bonding.
We find more time to play, like to step away and play.
Yeah.
Together than I think we did before. When and he's right. It's not just the time with each other, but I think we will value the time with other people.
Right.
Like Dub said, that was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. You got something, Dub?
And before we go, make sure to like and subscribe and click the link down below to win this mac and cheese. and you don't have to pay any money, so might as well just enter the giveaway.
Might as well enter the giveaway.
You might win the mac and cheese right here.
Social media marketing 101. Dub killing
it. This one's for you, man.
Oh, I love it.
Not real mac and cheese.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I loved having both of you. It's a real gift. Lindsay, before you pray, we've been telling everybody who next week is, right? And so who I think is next week is our good friend, the director of small groups at Providence Church. Joy Dodge is going to join us.
Pump it up. Yeah, Joy.
Yeah. And so if you guys haven't met Joy, she is our director of small groups. So she kind of oversees all the small groups for Providence Church and just does an incredible job of connecting people. And she's connecting people and starting small groups in this time. And so we're just going to have a conversation of what community looks like and the importance of it. I think she's next week. And if she's not, we got a few other guests, but she will be soon. But I think I'm kind of putting her on the spot right now. I think she is next week.
She's an Alabama fan, are you?
No, we're not going to talk about that. No.
You're already talking about it. So
yeah, we're not going to talk about it. So, Lindsay, will you pray for us as we end tonight?
Absolutely. God, in this season where even though we are not physically together, we are together because your spirit joins us together in heart. We just lift up in gratitude that you have provided ways and made a way that we can connect with one another and learn from each other, grow with each other in faith, and feel your love surrounding us. God, we ask that you will cover us, keep us safe, keep our minds and our eyes fixed on you. Keep us patient like you are patient with us as we continue to walk. Give us the patience in this season to love one another in all the ways that you have asked us to do by thinking of them first. Please be with us and guide us and be our light, illuminating us in any darkness. We ask all of this in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you guys for joining us, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram. Lindsay, Dub, we love y'all. And we'll see you guys soon.
It's good, Drake.
Click the link down below and get away.